We must travel far now. We must leave behind the calendars of Earth, the history of empires, and even the geological ages of planets. We are moving beyond the era of biology, beyond the era of grand civilizations, and deep into the twilight of the cosmos. Let the clock spin forward, not by centuries, but by trillions of years. The universe has grown old. The frantic energy of the Big Bang has long since dissipated, stretched thin across a fabric of space that has expanded beyond comprehension. We have arrived at the end of the story. It is quiet here. The great galaxies, once spinning pinwheels of light and color, have dissolved. The gravitational bonds that held star clusters together have loosened, scattering their members into the deep dark. The Milky Way is a forgotten memory, its dust and gas long ago used up or flung into the void. The universe is no longer a crowded city of light. It is a vast, cavernous cathedral where the candles have burnt down to the wax. In this immense emptiness, there is one solitary point of light remaining. It is the last star. It is not a brilliant blue giant, screaming its energy into the void, nor is it a steady yellow sun like the one that once warmed the earth. It is a red dwarf, small, dense, and incredibly efficient. It has burned for trillions of years, hoarding its fuel, sipping slowly on its supply of hydrogen, while its larger, more reckless siblings lived fast and died young in supernova explosions eons ago. This little star has been the silent witness to the slow death of the universe. It has watched the lights go out, one by one, until it was the only vigil left in the obsidian sky. Let us drift closer to it. It glows with a deep, somber crimson hue, a color of cooling embers. Its surface is not a raging storm, but a quiet, convective ocean of plasma. It is calm. It is steady. But it is tired. To understand the beauty of this moment, we must understand the physics of stellar fusion. For all its life, this star has been a machine, a factory that crushes hydrogen atoms together to create helium, releasing energy in the process. It is a battle against gravity, a constant push outwards to keep from collapsing inwards. It is work. Just as your heart works to pump blood, just as your mind works to process the day, this star has been working for an eternity. It has been fighting the cold, fighting the dark, maintaining its shape against the crushing weight of its own mass. But physics dictates that no machine can run forever. The laws of thermodynamics are the ultimate accountants, and the books must eventually balance. The hydrogen is running out. The engine is stuttering. Around this star, there are no planets left. If they ever existed, they have long since frozen, their atmospheres snowed out onto surface ice, or they have been spiraled away by the gravitational interactions of a chaotic past. There are no eyes to watch this final sunset. There is no photosynthesis waiting for the light. There is only the vacuum waiting patiently to reclaim the space. The process we are witnessing is not a tragedy. It is a resolution. In the early days of the universe, chaos reigned. Gas clouds collided, black holes roared, and stars exploded with violence. It was a time of noise and fury. But the universe moves from disorder to order, and finally to equilibrium. This is the era of the heat death, a misnomer perhaps, for it is actually a heat death, a death of heat. It is the approach of maximum entropy, where energy is evenly distributed, where differences in temperature smooth out. It is the universe settling into a comfortable flat line. As the star consumes its final reserves, it begins to shrink. It does not explode. It does not have the mass to create a dramatic finale. Instead, it turns inward. It becomes smaller, hotter for a brief moment as it compresses, shifting from red to a ghostly blue-white. It is transforming into a white dwarf. This is the star's retirement. It is no longer generating new energy. It is simply radiating away the heat it has stored up over trillions of years. Think of a stone taken out of a fire. It glows for a while, holding onto the memory of the heat. But slowly, inevitably, it cools to match the air around it. This is the future of our red dwarf. It is cooling. The light it casts becomes feebler. The photon stream, once a rushing river, becomes a trickle. If you were floating a light year away, you would barely see it. The darkness of the universe is now almost absolute. The distance between particles is so vast that a single atom could travel for 1 billion years without bumping into another. The isolation is profound. But within this isolation there is a deep, resonant peace. We are often afraid of the dark, conditioned by our biology to fear predators in the night. But this is not the darkness of danger. This is the darkness of rest. Think of your own life. Think of the noise of your days, the traffic, the voices, the notifications, the endless stream of information demanding your attention. It is a microcosm of the early universe, chaotic, hot, demanding. You push through it, expending energy, fighting entropy in your own small way. But eventually the day ends, the sun goes down, the demands cease. You lie down, and the world shrinks to the size of your bedroom, and then to the size of your mind, and then to nothing. The universe is doing exactly the same thing. It has worked hard. It has built galaxies. It has forged carbon, oxygen, and iron. It has hosted life, written histories, and played out dramas of infinite complexity. It has earned this sleep. As the white dwarf cools, it begins to crystallize. The carbon and oxygen atoms in its core arrange themselves into a lattice. It is becoming a diamond the size of the earth, suspended in the void. A cold, dark jewel. It fades from white to yellow to red again, and finally it drifts toward the infrared. It becomes a black dwarf, a theoretical object that we cannot see in our current young universe because not enough time has passed for one to form. But here, at the end of time, it is the final state of matter. The light flickers. The output drops. The surrounding space, sitting just a fraction of a degree above absolute zero, waits to embrace it. There is a specific kind of beauty in this slowness. In our human lives, we are obsessed with speed. We want things instantly. We fear the pause, but the cosmos operates on a timescale that teaches us patience. The dying of this star takes longer than the entire history of human civilization. It is a slow exhale. It is a gentle letting go. As the star dims, the concept of time itself begins to lose meaning. Time is measured by change, by the ticking of a clock, the rotation of a planet, the frequency of light. When the last star goes out, change essentially stops. The universe enters a state of timelessness. There are no more events to mark the passage of hours or eras. There is only the state of being. This is not death in the sense of destruction. It is a return to simplicity. The complexity of the universe has unwound itself. The knots have been untied. The tension has been released. Imagine standing at the edge of this fading light. You are witnessing the final curfew. The last photon is preparing to leave the surface. It is a single particle of light, carrying the final message of existence into the infinite dark. It travels out, red-shifted by the expansion of space, stretching into a long, lazy radio wave until it becomes indistinguishable from the background hum of the void. And then it happens. The light goes out. The visual universe is gone. But what remains is not empty. It is a sea of gravity and quantum fields, a silent ocean that has finally grown still. The storms are over. The waves have settled into a glass-like surface. Do not feel sad for the dark. The dark is the natural state of things. Light was a temporary interruption, a brief, beautiful experiment in energy. Now, the experiment is concluded. The laboratory is closing. There is a comfort in knowing that even the stars have a bedtime. There is a solace in realizing that the burden of existence is not infinite. If the universe, with all its power and majesty, is allowed to eventually stop working, to stop burning, to stop trying, then surely you are allowed to rest as well. You do not need to shine forever. You do not need to carry the weight of gravity on your shoulders indefinitely. You are part of this cosmos, made of the same dust that is now settling into the long sleep. The rhythm of the universe is in you, the burst of energy, the long burn, and the eventual cooling quiet. In this deep future, the anxiety of becoming is replaced by the peace of was. The deadlines are gone. The expectations have evaporated. The noise has been absorbed by the silence. The universe is now a cradle. It rocks gently in the expansion of dark energy. It hums a lullaby of low-frequency waves. It wraps itself in the blanket of absolute zero. So, as we leave this final scene, as we pull back from the cooling ember of the last star, we leave it to its well-deserved slumber. Good night to the hydrogen. Good night to the helium. Good night to the gravity and the light. The work is done. The heavy lifting is over. Let the silence wash over you. It is the same silence that waits at the end of all things, not as a predator, but as a pillow. The last star has closed its eyes. The universe is sleeping, and in this infinite, quiet dark, everything is exactly as it should be. Peaceful, still, and eternal